Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. Could you tell me a bit about like where you're from and what sparked your interest in traveling?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm from Norway. I've grown up skiing and being in the outdoors. It's a very, everyone is skiing in Norway from when they're tiny kids. So I think I have my first photo of myself on skis when I'm 2 years old. And I think I have the first photo of myself with a compass at 3 years old. So I've been outside my whole life basically. And then at a later date, I started exploring again and backpacking, basically just taking everything I did as a kid a step further. And I met some really cool people in the United States, like My Own Frontier, Joey Coconado. He has a big YouTube channel with outdoor stuff. And I started going out with him, doing long backpacking trips in the United States. And, I started my own YouTube channel after that, and the Norwegian Xplorer channel, and it's grown quite a bit. So I've spent more and more time with my YouTube channel and just backpacking um, as many places I can get to in the world, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So tell me a bit about some of your first journeys that's led to where you are now. Where'd you go to and sort of what type of backpacking? Is it more like rural, like bushwalking type of thing or?
This is wilderness backpacking, so it's basically far away from. You bring everything you need in your backpack for, I don't know, for 10 days maybe. 10 days seems to be a normal length of a backpacking trip for me. And I've done a lot of stuff in the United States and in Norway and Scandinavia. Um, just going out for a long time with a tent, being totally reliant on yourself, basically. And yeah, just taking care of, looking at the weather, trying to get good weather is a good thing, and just enjoying myself. There's nothing like waking up and looking out of a tent and seeing the mist gathering on a lake and stuff like that, or being on top of a mountain and waking up to the sunrise. It's just
Absolutely.
beautiful. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's definitely wilderness backpacking, as far as possible from people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeing places that not a lot of people get to experience, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you had any issues with that type of backpacking, that style? So wilderness trekking, I guess. Yeah. Have you had any issues around that?
No, I haven't really had any issues. I I've met, I've had quite a few bear encounters, which is kind of, some people might consider that an issue. I
I
consider
do.
that I consider that great experiences,
Right.
basically. I met many bears, especially in the United States. There's been a bunch of bear encounters. Most of the time, the bear will just look at you from a couple of 100 meters away and just go on with its business of digging up roots or something like that. But I've had an experience where I met a black bear in that was in Sequoia National or Kings Canyon National Park in California. And that was basically a 12-minute standoff with a bear who had gotten food from a backpacker couple. And when a bear gets food from someone, that bear turns into a different kind of animal because the bear wants more food. So this bear wouldn't leave the area. And this older couple asked me to help them pack up their gear, or help them with the bear while they were packing up their camp, basically. So it turned into a 12-minute standoff with this bear that was just circling us, and it was actually bluff charging me twice as well. So it's kind of a situation. I was able to film everything because when I got into the scene, I already heard the noise from this one person banging a pot, and I kind of recognized that as somebody trying to get a bear to go away. So I had my camera in my left hand just as I walked into that camp, and I filmed the whole thing. So it's kind of a funny thing. The bear was, it didn't, it bluff charged me, but it didn't seem like it was aggressive. It more seemed like, I want this food, go away, that kind of behavior from the bear. And in the end, there were some more people coming to the scene, and we were just screaming and yelling, and we were able to scare the bear away. So he ran away in the end. It was a big, beautiful black bear, cinnamon colored black bear. So that was quite the experience.
Yeah, that definitely would have been. Have you seen the Renovant? I think it's Renovant with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes, I have, a long time ago. I've seen
I was going to say, but wow,
Yeah.
and you still weren't frightened.
Well, there's a lot of science to the if you read up on bear behavior, especially black bears, you see that there's certain ways you should behave around black bears. You should in California, you should actually be a little bit like, you should haze that bear, get it away from you, like yell at it, maybe throw rocks in its direction and everything, because they try to bluff you into giving them food or leaving your food, because a lot of people do that. But the statistics of actual black bear attacks are so low that it's almost unheard of that a black bear actually attacks and hurts someone in California.
Yeah, right.
So with grizzly bears, that's a totally different beast. That's a bear where you should bring your bear spray and have some more knowledge around being around bears. But it's funny that in the whole history of Yosemite National Park, which is a much bigger park than what you see posted on social media, there's a lot of bears and a lot of humans, and in the whole history of Yosemite, nobody has been killed by a bear.
Oh, really?
And I think it's over 100 years old, that park.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, if you look at those statistics, it kind of lowers your fear a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. I don't know where I heard it from. I just heard once that if you saw a bear, you roll up into a ball. This is probably the worst type of advice, but you roll up into a ball and cover your organs or something.
I think that if you get attacked by a grizzly bear, you should roll up and play dead.
Yeah. Okay. So yep.
Yeah, it's different for different kinds of bears. So basically, a black bear, I think you should fight back. I'm not gonna say this, I don't have it in front of me, but there's like National Park Service in the United States have good like rules of thumbs you should follow. So,
yep.
But definitely with a grizzly, you should roll up and play dead if it attacks you. And with a black bear, I think you're supposed to fight back with everything you have. Because they're probably likely to give up and run away, because they don't really want to fight. They just want food. So they don't attack humans for food. That's for polar bears only, I think. Those you should be careful of.
Yeah.
The polar bears are the most dangerous because they eat meat as their main source of food, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Because up on the in the Arctics, there's only snow and ice and seals.
Yeah.
And fish, I guess, to eat. So they're pretty dangerous. Yeah. So that's why if you go to Svalbard in Norway, you should always carry a gun when you're outside of the perimeters of the cities, I think. I've never been there myself, but that's what they do.
Where in Norway are you currently?
I'm in southwestern Norway.
Southwestern Norway. Wow.
Yeah. So it's it's close to Stavanger, which is the fourth largest city in Norway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you been to tell me about some of the hikes that you've been on? So what have been some of the memorable hikes that have just went, oh yeah, that's like amazing?
Well, I think my favorite backpacking trip is probably one I did in the greater Yellowstone area in the Teton Wilderness, just southeast of Yellowstone National Park. We did an 8-day trek from from south of Yellowstone National Park out onto the east side. That was amazing. That's just there's no people there. We didn't meet anyone backpacking out there. We were out for 8 days, and it's just so wild. We went to the headwaters of the Yellowstone River, which is just a tiny trickle that runs out from a glacier high up in the mountains. And that was amazing. And then, I don't know if you know about the Yellowstone Falls, that big waterfall that's pictured on every pictures from Yellowstone National Park. We went to the headwaters of that big waterfall, and it's just a tiny trickle. That was amazing. And also this summer, I've done something I call the Grand Scandinavian Hiking and Backpacking Tour, where I went through all of Scandinavia, Norway and Sweden, starting in Femundsmarka. Excuse me. I started in Femundsmarka National Park on the border with Sweden. And I continued to Rondane National Park, Jotunheimen National Park, Liane National Park, over into Sweden to Sarek National Park, and back to Norway to Lofoten, and back down to Glacier National Park in southern Norway again. So that was 2.5 months of backpacking. So that's probably the most exciting summer I've ever had. Was 6,700 kilometers of traveling, and I don't know how many kilometers it was of walking, but it was an incredible summer experiencing Norway and Sweden.
So walk me through your days on this trip. So I guess you're camping and you get up every morning and you're carrying your breakfast, I guess. And so what's your routine like when you did that?
My routine is I wake up, and depending on the weather, I just stay in my sleeping bag for a little while, opening the tent up and looking at the views. And then I basically make coffee and oatmeal for breakfast. That is, I pack my own little oatmeal packs, just to save weight and everything. Pack them in little Ziploc bags and make instant coffee and oatmeal. That's breakfast. Make that on a little stove and pack up and start walking. I'm usually a little bit late, so I'll start walking around 11 a.m. That's my after a long breakfast. So I take my time with my coffee. So that's the morning routine. And then, I brush my teeth and go to the bathroom. That's also necessary.
Dig a hole.
I dig a hole. Yeah. And these days, you pack out your toilet paper and everything. So there's small routines around all of this that are pretty much set in stone right now.
Awesome. So. I actually saw this podcast, and there was this guy who was trekking over Antarctica. It was like a solo Antarctica trip, and but they were saying that they had to carry bags with their waste because they weren't allowed to leave the waste, so they had to judge the weight and what they were eating, even in terms of digestion and everything, because you couldn't just leave waste in Antarctica. And I thought that's just insane.
Yeah, there's this thing now that's called leave no trace, and that goes for backpacking in any style. So I do the same thing. I'm not out there for 2 months at a time without getting back to civilization. So for me, it's not a big weight to carry everything, but I don't leave anything in. I do dig a hole and dig over it, but I carry my toilet paper back out in Ziploc bags.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal. I go to IKEA and I buy these packs of. They have these really good Ziploc bags, and they're usually in the packs. There's 2 different sizes, and it's like there's one. So I use the smaller one for an inner Ziploc bag, and I have a larger one that I put on top of it. So, to keep smells and leaks away.
It works.
And it does work. So it's not a problem. I've also changed from, I've started using wet wipes, and wet wipes there's the problem with wet wipes is you cannot leave them in nature because they will not decompose. So you have to carry those out, but they're a really good, you can use them to clean yourself a little bit, and you can use it as toilet paper. So kind of serves two purposes, and they don't weigh a lot, and it makes you feel a little bit cleaner. And yeah, they're kind of, it feels like they feel cleaner to store and carry out than regular toilet paper would have. So yeah, that's the bathroom talk there.
That's good to know. It's good to know,
Yeah.
because I haven't done really many long hikes, I guess. So yeah, I was also wondering, because you're from Norway.
Yep.
Is there this Norway-Sweden issue where you guys think each other are weird? Or I heard something where Norwegians think the Swedes are weird in some sense for something. I don't know. Is that real or?
Yeah, there's a friendly conflict, ever ongoing friendly conflict, and it's just fun. It's just like, I don't know. Do you have the same thing with like people from New Zealand or something, or
Maybe
is that too?
a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. So it's just like a friendly competition kind of thing. And you know, Norway has been ruled by Swedish kings through history, so I think we might have a little bit of like, we have a little bit of an issue with some certain stuff, but the Swedes are very cool, and we're like, we're definitely like a brother sister people relationship, I think.
Yeah.
So we have jokes about the Swedes, and the Swedes have jokes about us, or the Swedes mostly just ignore us.
Just a Norwegian.
Yeah, okay. Just annoyed little people on the side there.
Yeah.
They're just a bunch of farmers that found oil. That's basically what the Swedes think of us.
I see.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So friendly competition there. So
yeah. I saw this video where they have I don't know if you guys have it in Norway. I think it might be Swedish, where it's like like rotten fish.
Oh yeah, I think that's the Swedes.
That's the Swedes.
Surströmming, I think they call it. I think that's the thing that smells so bad you can't even have it in the same room.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's Swedish. Yeah. But we have some stuff like that in Norway as well. Rakfisk, it's a fish dish as well.
Sounds disgusting.
I've never been in the same room as one of those dishes, so
right.
I can't tell you anything about it.
I can just see you on your hikes with your little swash fish or whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't bring much fish on my hike. I do bring a fishing pole from time to time, but I'm not a big fisherman, so I do that from time to time, but not a big thing for me fishing while I'm out in the wilderness. For me, being in the wilderness is mostly just looking at scenery. You know, that's what I want to present in my videos as well, is basically people being able to see as much as possible of the scenery. So I spend a lot of time just filming the nature and trying to get people to see the beauty of what's out there, because there's so much, you know, amazing stuff out in the wilderness, and it's so vast. Certain places, you know, you have the whole western United States that have all these, in Utah you have all this red desert with the arches and the canyons and the red rocks and all of them. You might go to Yellowstone and it's a totally different thing, and then you go to the Sierras in California, and it's these huge peaks and pinnacles and green lakes and stuff. And then you go to Norway and Sweden, and it's totally different mountains. You know, they're much older mountains, so they're more like they've been carved into a different, like, rounder shape. But you have all these glaciers, and it's just like, I want to show people all of this stuff. And you know, with Corona being the issue for a year and a half now, it's been difficult to travel to see other places. But I really got to experience Norway and Sweden for real for the first time in my life. I just figured out how little I've seen of my own country, and it was just like, it was this amazing revelation for me, and I'm gonna go and see way more of Norway and Sweden in the future.
Whereabouts?
Well, I only got to do one big backpacking trip in Sweden because the borders kept being open and closed. So I had to go back and forth over the border depending on Norway divides the Swedish corona situation into counties basically. And like Sweden would have an orange colored county, a red county, couple of green counties and stuff like that, and you could only travel back and forth between the green counties and Norway. As soon as it turned orange or red, you couldn't travel without quarantining. So I had to make sure that I stayed in green counties in Sweden. So I was only able to do one long backpacking trip in Sarek National Park in Sweden. But I really want to go and see more of Abisko and Kungsleden. I don't know if you've heard of those trails and areas in Sweden. They're kind of new to me as well. 2 years ago, I didn't know about any of these places, but in northern Sweden, there's a lot of wilderness that is really wild and really beautiful. So I'm going to go and spend more time there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can I ask why the nature for you? Is it something that you just feel peace like when you're doing your nature trips, or is it like what are you thinking of like when you're in nature?
Well, I'm thinking of everything, but it's like everything that worries you in daily life is gone when you're out in nature. It's like phones off, no emails. It's just like, and I cannot deal with anything while I'm out here. And sometimes I just want everything else to disappear. It's like I want reality to be only these trips out in nature. All that other stuff, that's not necessary for in my life. So I just want to kind of be out there and be just be in nature. That would be the ultimate. So this summer I got a car that I could rig up for sleeping. So I made my little like van life car in an SUV, and I traveled around for 2.5 months without being home. And that was amazing. It just felt like pure freedom, like that freedom of deciding where to go whenever I wanted to go there, and just look at the weather forecast and say, looks like I'm going there today. And it's like not having any like schedule that you have to follow, or just making your own routine as you go, and being totally free. That was quite the experience. Not a lot of people do that here in Scandinavia. People in Scandinavia are pretty much set in their like day-to-day life. It's like, okay, you got to get up at this time, and you got to go to work, and you got to have a family, you got to raise your family, you got to do this and this and this. And not a lot of people step outside of that comfort zone of and go and do something else. So yeah, it's
That's amazing.
Kind of a rare thing to do.
Yeah.
In Norway.
No, it totally is. Like I was having a conversation today, like with my partner, and we were talking about how like the world it's kind of set up where you're kind of trapped. Like you finish school, you go to college, you buy a house, and then you're continually working to pay off the house. And if someone buys a van and travels around, they kind of look like, well, so-called crazy type thing. But really, at the end of your retirement, that's all you want to do anyway. So it's kind of like,
so you get all this other stuff to at some point when you retire, you can do what you actually wanted to do. And then you see a lot of people, especially in the United States, they sell their houses when they retire and buy an RV, and they spend the rest of their lives traveling around in an RV. It's a vast country over there, so it's more like set up for that. But still, that's what you want to do. That's what I want to do, at least.
Totally.
I don't want to be set in that 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 or whatever it is these days way of life. I want to just do whatever. I want to travel wherever I want to go and experience whatever I want to. So yeah, but it takes I don't know, it takes planning in the society today to or you have to just abandon everything, I guess. There's one or two, either like stone hard planning or just abandon everything.
Yeah. It's kind of like the
So,
Matrix. Have you seen the Matrix where they're just like, you gotta unplug?
yep, I've seen it. It's been a long time, so I don't remember the story, but I'm definitely gonna see the new one that comes out now.
Oh, amazing. In December, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
gonna be
watched it
fun.
the other I watched it the other night. I was like, this is just uncanny. Like what's going on? And it's just, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I think we're set up to not be able to get out of our own matrix here. I think that's the whole point. We're supposed to be in this 9 to 4, 9 to 5 matrix.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree.
So without being like any like I don't have any conspiracy theories around that, but
Yes,
it's
you do.
definitely yeah.
I can see it in your eyes.
Oh yeah, you got that shining thing there. Yeah. Alien. Yep.
No, but so could you tell me about where has been some of your favorite places in America to go? Because I guess that was a big part of some of your travels.
Yes, that's where I basically started doing YouTube videos. Had a big impact, and as I said, Greater Yellowstone, it's definitely a place that I'm going to go back. There's not a lot of people going to Greater Yellowstone because most people go to the national park, and that's a very crowded place, and it's beautiful though, but that's crowded. If you go outside the park boundaries, it's a totally different world. Also the Sierra Nevada in California, amazing place, like with Sequoia and Kings Canyon national parks. Beautiful. And there's a lot of people there, and you have to get the permits and everything, but you have Mount Whitney there. That's the highest mountain on the continental United States. And I've been up there, and there's a lot of people, but it's an amazing experience. It is really cool. That's amazing. But Utah has always been my favorite, like the canyons and the red desert and slot canyons and arches and sandstone and that's very special. Going out there, setting up your tent on slick rock, and it's 70 degrees at night maybe, and it's 80 degrees in the day, and it's like you're almost like you're at a resort or something, but you have to find your own water. So it's kind of, yeah, Utah is definitely the Dirty Devil River area in Utah, beautiful. So I had this wish to move to Hanksville in Utah, which is a tiny little sleepy little dusty town in the middle of the desert, but it's right in the middle of all the canyon country down there. So they had a big flash flood a month ago, I think, and there was water in the streets and everything. So
Wow.
That's really a cool place.
So do you plan on moving there, or?
No, I'm not going to move there, but that would be like, if all my dreams came true, I would move there.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
nice.
No, I'm staying in Norway. It's a pretty good place to be. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't usually talk about it, but are you guys fully open at the moment? Like,
I think we are fully open now. Yes, I think so. There are travel restrictions into the country still for foreigners, but I think all the like restrictions inside the country have been lifted. So now it's like we've been told now you take care of you self quarantine if you feel sick.
wow.
But you're not. We're not following a regime now of imposed restrictions. So, and today the border with Sweden opened fully. Like they removed all the barriers, and I think they have removed all the like there were checkpoints. There's usually not checkpoints between Norway and Sweden, but there were for the whole through the pandemic now. But I think those were removed today. So you have to, if like under certain conditions, you have to go and get a test after you get into Norway, but it's your own responsibility to do it, basically. Now,
That's
like,
amazing.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's we have a good percentage of people that have gotten fully vaccinated now. So I think that's what's behind it.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Wow, that's really awesome. Here in New South Wales, we have it's like it's pretty insane. Yeah, our government's slightly tyrannical, but we got a new leader in.
okay.
And it's going a bit better. So I think anyway,
Okay.
he got elected the other day. So we'll see
Okay.
how it goes.
How's travel within Australia? Are you
Awful.
like, are you closed off like the different territories? Can you
Yeah,
travel? Okay.
so it's like we're a republic country almost in New South Wales, which is
Yeah.
you probably know New South Wales. And Victoria, just been announced the other day that Melbourne was the most locked down city on earth.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
there it's pretty insane. Yeah, it's weird. There's no sort of border crossing. It's not allowed. And on Father's Day in New South Wales and Queensland, people gathered on the borders with picnics, and there was like a barrier, and they were having a thing. And like personally from Australia, that's just unbelievable to see. It never should be a thing, but I guess it's tyranny. In all honesty, I'll be brutally honest. It's crazy.
So you've been actually like closed off as if you were separate countries.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I live down sort of the Central Coast region. And even to some people in Sydney, to even work in certain areas, you had to get a permit to go to different regions within New South Wales.
Wow.
So in terms of movement, like the other day, me and my partner, we had a 5-kilometer radius put on our houses, I guess. So if you get caught out of your 5-kilometer, you get a $5,000 fine.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're not mucking around down under. So
no, that's pretty heavy.
I wouldn't recommend coming here at the moment, to be honest.
I wouldn't think that would be even possible, would it?
It's highly possible. Very possible.
Okay. Yeah.
The police here are I don't know if you've seen the footage. The other day in Melbourne, they actually shot rubber bullets at our protesters on the Shrine of Remembrance, which is our World War I veterans. And it's basically despicable what some of the police officers are doing at the moment. So it's scary stuff, to be honest with you. And at the protests, like there's been images of old ladies being tackled and some brutal things.
Okay, and that's terrible.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be necessary.
Absolutely not necessary. Yeah, we're not allowed to protest in Australia anymore, so I don't know if that's a thing that's changed, but yeah. So enjoy Norway, I guess.
Yeah. You know, the problem with Norway again is that we're too complacent. Is that the right word? It's like people are very much will always follow the rules because we think that government is always right, and I think that I think people should think for themselves a little bit. But it's been pretty well handled in Norway. I have to say that. I have to give that to the government. It's been I think it's been well. Yeah, it's been well handled. You haven't felt like you've been imprisoned here in Norway in any way, but it's there's been travel advisories. You've been advised to not travel out of the country and stuff like that, but nobody's been forced. Like you have been allowed to travel out of the country for the whole time if you wanted to, but you'd have to quarantine for 10 days when you get back from most countries. I think that's changed now. If you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to quarantine any longer.
Okay. Yep.
So it's been all that, like everything's been leading up to people being fully vaccinated. That's been the goal of the government, to get everyone on the vaccine so that we could open up. And when we
Yep.
reached a certain percentage of fully vaccinated, then they opened up.
That's
So,
awesome. I feel like
so
you guys have more of a sense of trust relationship with your government in a way, I guess, sort
oh,
of
definitely.
trust. Yep.
Norwegians have a really high, like there was just this test that was done this summer, I think, and it showed that Norwegians had a really high trust level in their own government.
Wow.
So I think that's from, it might have something to do with the history going up from World War II, where I think Norwegians after World War II have been really trustful of their government, and what's been going on. We've had it pretty well in Norway since we found oil in the 70s. But it's all been leading up from World War II, where I think it has to do with that thing that we're a kingdom, and we have a king that we love, but we have a government that rules the country, and it's been from World War II, the government managed to escape and go to Great Britain and lead the country from Great Britain in exile together with the king. So they never kind of gave in and surrendered, and in the end, World War II, there was a really the country was rebuilt in a really good way, and a very everyone shared in on everything, and it was the workers' kind of party that civil rights. I think it was well handled, and the trust in the Norwegian government has been really high since that.
Yeah.
A lot of people. No, I think it's still really high. So.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Well, I don't think personally in Australia, that in my circles, and I guess they're biased, but the trust is pretty much gone for our governments,
Yep.
our state governments.
Yep.
Like in my personal opinion, I don't trust anything they say, and I know some of their advice may be useful. I do recognize that, but in my personal opinion, it's dog shit. Not to be used the phrase, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I do think also that people should be free. I don't like the concept of government. I think people should have freedom and not be part of a system in a way. I think that's also part of my lifestyle, and what I do and my travels and everything is based on freedom.
yep.
You should be able to live your life the way you want to. So I kind of agree with you. Sorry. I kind of agree with you on some of that, but I have to give it to the Norwegian government. They've handled this well. But we did just have an election, and the old government was really down on they didn't get a lot of votes. The government that's taken us through the corona didn't get this time, so we're going to change government. But that's it's same but different, probably. What's coming after. It's not it's not a big change, but it showed that people got tired from a year and a half of corona restrictions and all that. Even though the government handled it pretty well, they had a few they did a few bad things on a personal level. Like our prime minister, she had her 60th birthday, and she broke the rules with how many people she gathered. And to me, that was like, as a prime minister, your 60th birthday, you should have canceled that, just to show just to be an example and say, I'm going to cancel my 60th birthday. She didn't have to have that birthday. My dad canceled his 70th birthday. So that's what normal people do. So why shouldn't the prime minister do that? So I think that was like a real breach of trust, because they were pretty good up until that, but that was like a private breach of trust from the prime minister. And I think that's a lousy leader style, to be honest.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I actually, our Prime Minister on Father's Day, flew from ACT, which is our capital territory, to Sydney, where his home is.
Yeah.
And basically, people in the ACT, New South Wales, can't travel 5 kilometers out of their house zone. And he went
Yeah.
to see his family on Father's Day. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
with his strong rules, and people, he flew his own private jet, and
Okay.
people just
Yeah.
grilled him for it, which is, I think,
Yeah.
it's disgusting. Similar to
Yeah.
what your prime minister actually did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You should, as a state leader, you should go ahead with an example, and you should even put like stricter sanctions on yourself than you do on the rest of the people, just to lead by example. I think that's one of the best ways you can lead. Say that, I canceled I canceled my morning coffee because
that's right.
strict, lead by example. That's
Yep.
always the best way, and it makes it easier for people to accept things if you show that it applies to you as well. So yeah,
Totally
state
agree.
leaders should be careful.
Yep.
Or
Totally.
the pitchforks will be out there.
Maybe in your country we get crash tackled before we can rise the forks.
Yeah,
But
yeah. People in Norway don't really demonstrate at all, so it's yeah.
yeah.
That's not.
Tell me a bit about your YouTube channel. So, do you use drones to film some of these classic footage shots that you get, or?
Well, I don't use a drone, and that has to do with I don't like meeting a drone out in nature because of the sound it makes. I don't think drones should be out in nature, and I also want to be I want my channel to show what I see. I don't want it to be like an artificial view, if you understand what I mean. I want it
Totally.
to be my eyes. Like, I want it to be what I see. So if I'm going to see a view, I have to climb up to see that view. I have to climb a mountain. So I'm only showing that. So I'm not going to be using a drone because I don't want that I feel that would be artificial or in relation to the backpacking trips that I'm showing. So I want to show people what it is like being out there on a backpacking trip. And that doesn't include seeing something like a bird would see it. It only includes seeing it from my angle. So
no, I actually really like that idea because it's more realistic, I guess. Like you walking me like through where you're going. I like
exactly. It. Yeah. So I also think like I don't want to give away a view by sending up a drone. I want to get to that view and show, oh wow, now I'm here. Look at the view. If I sent up a drone 5 kilometers back, they would already have seen that view. So that would kind of wouldn't be the right purpose, I think. Also, in most national parks, you're not allowed to fly a drone anyway. So in the United States, you're not allowed to fly drones in any national parks, I think. And I don't think you're allowed to do that in Norway either. So
right. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't want to disturb people. I get really disturbed if somebody flies a drone when I'm out in nature. So I don't want to fly. I don't want to be the one flying a drone. So yeah.
With like your technology everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like an invasion. I feel the drone situation. Like if you hear it, it kind of feels like, what are you filming type? You start thinking.
Yeah. I think so too. And it's also like, there's a drone flying over you. Is it filming me or is it filming all these other people? Is it? Yeah, it's actually a slight invasion of privacy, I would say. Depending on where you are, of course. I've seen this. There's a great YouTube channel called Got to Go, I think. I think it's a lady from Switzerland who rides a motorcycle. She uses a drone in a really good way, I think. She films herself riding the motorcycle through beautiful scenery and stuff like that. And I think that's a good use of drone. But for my type of stuff, like wilderness stuff, being out in the backcountry, it's not something I'm going to be doing. So,
fair enough. Yeah.
For me, it's like showing what it's like right there and then. So I always keep like I don't use any fancy camera gear. It's been like my iPhone 11 Pro Max and a GoPro Hero 9, not like high quality stuff. Like not professional. It's high quality, but it's not professional gear, if you understand what I mean. But now I just got the iPhone 13 Pro Max because it's got a way better camera, and I got a GoPro 10. I haven't used any of them yet, but I'm kind of, I want it to look as good as it can without dragging around professional video gear, if you understand what I mean, because the audience that high quality, scenery like 4K and even higher, and be the best scenario is somebody watching in 4K on a 75-inch TV. That's how you should watch it. That's probably just a couple of people. So.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I just have a few more questions before we can wrap this up. Do you guys have mud bath things in Norway that like you can go to and get involved in?
Maybe. I don't know. I think that's more like Iceland.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Iceland. I think Iceland is very well known for that.
I do know the difference.
Yeah. It's not something that there is probably something, but I haven't seen anything here that I can remember or think of.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay.
Not a lot of mud baths for me.
Yeah.
But you don't need mud baths here because the weather in the fall is going to turn everything into mud anyway. You just walk outside.
Nice.
Take your shoes off and walk in the mud.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you have a website and obviously your YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description?
Very cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Do you have a website or anything else that we could plug here, and what's your YouTube name?
So for me, it's only the YouTube page. That's my main page. And I communicate with my audience on YouTube, and I try to reply to every comment that I get on my YouTube channel. So I really appreciate people commenting on my videos. I'll try to answer everything. And if people have questions, very cool. I'll reply to those on the YouTube videos, basically. My YouTube channel is Norwegian Xplorer. And it's Explorer with an X, so it's Xplorer. But if you search for Explorer with an E, it's probably gonna pop up on the top of that as well. So that's it, Norwegian Xplorer on YouTube. That's my main page, basically. That's my website.
Awesome, love it.
So that's where I do my communication. I do have an Instagram and a Facebook by the same name, but that the main communication is basically on the YouTube page directly.
Yep. Okay. No worries.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put that in the link, and so people will be able to see that.
Awesome. Thank you.
So yeah, no, I appreciate your time, and thanks for having the conversation. I really appreciate you coming on and talking.
Absolutely.
So thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You reached out to me this summer while I was on my big Scandinavian trip, and I think your message went into my spam folder, and I just saw it like. Every once in a while, I go through the spam folder to see if I missed something. And I saw your message, and it was probably like a month old when I replied to you.
Yeah,
so I really appreciate you finding me. That was awesome. So thank you so much for having me.
No, I appreciate it. Sometimes I feel like spam, but I'm not. I'm real.
Oh no. Yeah, I could totally see the difference.
Yeah.
And you can always go on Spotify and find your podcast. So I did that, and I saw, okay, there's a podcast. Let's reply to you here. So yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
No,
so what time is it? What time is it at your place now?
8:13 p.m.
Oh, okay. So here it's
PM.
11:14.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. AM.
Yep. Oh, AM. Yeah. Okay.
AM. Yep.
Nice.
So
nice.
You're a day ahead of me, or?
I'm Wednesday, the 6th of October.
In the evening. Okay. Yeah. So you're half a day ahead of me.
Half a day. Yeah. Yep. No, nice.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I appreciate your time, and have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you. All right.
You too. Have a
Take
good
care.
one.
Bye.